Welcome back to the channel. Do be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. In today's aviation news recap, there is a Boeing aircraft order, quality discussions regarding the 737 MAX and any potential production increase, and Alaska Airlines is launching a new route. That is where I want to begin, with the airline unveiling plans to enhance its San Francisco Bay Area connections by adding Santa Rosa to Las Vegas. The new connection will commence on October 1st, 2024, and will offer daily year-round services to prospective customers. It is also the 7th non-stop destination originating out of Santa Rosa. Other cities away from Las Vegas include the likes of Los Angeles, Portland, Seattle, San Diego, and Burbank, to name just a few. Alaska Airlines says it feels a connection, unlike any other, with Santa Rosa. Not only was it the first carrier to bring commercial service to the airport now so long ago, but it has also remained. Now in the mid-2020s, scary to pretty much say that, but that's where we're headed. The airline sits proudly as the largest airline in the location, serving nearly 2 million guests across almost 2 decades. Additionally, service to all 4 Bay Area airports means passengers have fantastic flexibility in their booking. Adding Las Vegas does mean that enhancement is even more significant, and continues with a pretty steady stream of new routes that are being announced by Alaska Airlines. As with their available and also incoming aircraft, they look to elevate their service offering. Alaska Airlines added that they'll deploy the Embraer E175 on the service. We're seeing more and more nowadays the Embraer aircraft truly become a popular aircraft to fly on. As we know, it features window and aisle seating, therefore the lack of a middle seat is a key selling point of the Embraer experience, something we've seen with other airlines right around the world that try and promote services and a more comfortable flying experience, even if it is just a short flight. Sometimes not having that middle seat can make the difference, whether you're a couple or flying solo. On to Boeing, and Federal Aviation Administration FAA Chief Mike Whitaker spoke with Reuters about the ongoing investigations into the American plane maker and the implications that they are having. As part of these investigations, the FAA has said that Boeing must first and foremost focus on improving its safety and also culture, and address the key quality issues by improving these key areas of the business. Only once these core areas can be cleared will the FAA finally allow Boeing to increase production. As you may know, an increase in production has been put on hold for some time now. Hiking production of the popular 737 program was considered an essential part of the 2024 schedule. However, when new quality issues emerged, those plans were visibly put on hold. For Boeing, the FAA barred an increase in production and labelled it obviously as an unprecedented situation, and even unprecedented to basically bar an increase in production of an aircraft type. That should signify, if anything, just how bad it has been recently. The view is at least that if a production increase occurred, focus very quickly would shift away from core matters that do need rebuilding. So essentially speaking, it would mean that Boeing would be pressured by an increase and would no longer be paying attention to, say, safety and cultural fixes that are really of paramount. Boeing is permitted at its current rate to produce 38 737 jets per month. And while this is an amount, it obviously is lower than what would ideally be liked. If you take a look at the forecast that Boeing previously had, in 2024 they were meant to upgauge production rates over multiple points. So they're not really doing that. And given the recent months at the manufacturer, actually hitting a maximum of 38 jets per month is more of a challenge, as they're not reaching this amount at this stage. Over time, the company should be able to work back up to a maximum amount permitted by the FAA. In fact, that could take most of this year to do. An increase would only be allowed once Boeing can prove to the Federal Aviation Administration that it has implemented critical changes in its business in a successful manner. Remember, the FAA has a major oversight now into how Boeing goes about its production practices customers and day-to-day business, so they need to be looking in and determining that everything is to their satisfaction. Compiling an adequate comprehensive plan, which was requested at the end of February, will be essential also in allowing for a production increase. This turnaround plan, if you will, was put forward to the manufacturer. The FAA said they had 90 days, and several requirements were outlined in that request that needed to be met, including the results of audits which revealed they failed a significant amount of quality tests. The hope is that moving forward, Boeing won't have these problems continuing to emerge once or twice a year. Rather, never again. And I'm sure whether you've just been tuning into this channel for as long as you can remember, or you've just been keeping tabs on the aviation industry, maybe you are new to our industry and have seen the odd article pop up, you'll probably recall that problems with Boeing seem to be a frequent occurrence. It does feel like Groundhog Day. Every 6 months, ultimately something happens. You'll have a 5-month quiet spell and something will happen again. It's exhausting and obviously is a safety risk. The FAA wants to stop this. Airline customers have already said that they're remaining in contact with Boeing regarding any potential delays. However, with time, obviously the frustrations of each airline customer continue to grow as Boeing's problems impact their schedules, their growth, and their finances. In the future, Boeing will want to submit its turnaround plan successfully, continue implementing key new pillars to make the business a more sustainable and safer one, and in the very far long term, it'll want to become a industry leader once more. All that will be with time, but at the same time, there's no timeline on when they'll be able to achieve these things. On to the final story, and Silkway West has announced the purchase of an additional Boeing 777 freighter. The new aircraft purchase is set to be delivered in 2025, and the company says a purchase follows an amendment of an existing commitment for the aircraft signed in 2021. Silkway's initial contract involved the purchase of 5 777Fs, 2 of which have already been delivered, and the remaining aircraft alongside the additional unit will all be delivered by 2027 at the latest. The 777F, while obviously set to be undone by the upcoming 777-8F, is still a current leader in its own right. And this is largely thanks to its availability in the market. For leading freight operators that need an immediate solution to growing demand in their region, maybe it is also fleet replacement efforts or something else, the 777F remains available. However, when considering the 777-8F's entry into service date, while they do bring greater technological advancements, they're many years away, and therefore they're more long-term solutions to short-term needs. Obviously, that doesn't align. Silkway highlights the advanced technology of the 777F and believes it has a significant also amount of operational reliability, which means it is fantastic for them, and they'll look to leverage these capabilities that I've mentioned to their advantage for some time. That will conclude today's aviation news recap, and also the final aviation news recap being recorded from Canada. So that does mean, permitting, the next video you'll watch will be back in my office in Australia with proper audio quality, proper edits, and everything else. So I must say a massive thank you for sticking with me across the past 2 weeks. I really do appreciate your patience.